This. I'm checking now. Nothing. Still can't hear. Okay, so still, wait a second. Yeah. No here. There you go. No sound. Yes, can hear you now. Still no sound. Still no sound. You're behind, I think. I bet still connected to his headphones. LOL. Absolutely. Yep. Anything now? There we go. We can hear. Good. Yay. Woohoo. Just got back. Sound just got back. So yeah, I figured it's better with sound. I just figured that sound's probably the way to go. This is so embarrassing. Like I just cannot get this right. It's the damn phone, and it's Restream because I'm not used to using Restream. To be fair, no, it's not. It's user error. It's absolutely user error. Hello, everybody. This is my Burn and Learn. I'll try that again. So, so this is my bid to stay alive and fit long enough to enjoy the golden years with my fabulous son Sebastian and my extraordinarily brilliant and lovely and gorgeous wife Jane. And our menagerie of pets, who I could take or leave at this point. But happy Monday, yes. Now I'm doing a recap. Exactly, I'm doing a little recap. This is what I was trying to say when I was blabbing away without having any sound. I need to put a giant sign somewhere that just says, "Turn off Bluetooth, you idiot." Always do a sound check at the beginning of the stream just to ask the chatter if they can hear you. Yeah, exactly. That's what I had meant to do that. And of course, I didn't have chat on, so I didn't see the chat. But I'm a legend, apparently. Just about to do my burn for the day. Cycling. Ooh, 8 miles to work, normally on my e-bike, but it's in the shop. Ooh, a real old school bike. Jim the Evo is doing some serious cycling. Yes, we're all humans. I am more human. So yeah. So this is basically the exercise that I can't stand. And the exercise I can't stand, I try to learn something while I'm doing it because it really is torture to me. I can't stand exercise. So I've been listening to a whole bunch of this cybersecurity stuff recently. And the ones I was listening to today were about this built-in malware. So basically, you've got these, those little USB drives that will turn your television into a smart TV. You've got networking, network cameras or projectors or all these impossibly cheap electronics. And it turns out some of them are coming from the manufacturer with the firmware that is designed to, dial home and steal credentials and do all this amazingly horrible stuff. And I was just fascinated, but they had two versions. I think it's called Black Box or something like that. And there was one that they discovered, and it was on 100,000 devices. And they're like, "Oh my god!" And they figured out how to. They did a thing called what did they call it? A sand trap? Was it I can't remember. Was it a sand trap? Something trap, where basically the devices all send information back to an IP address. I guess they take that IP address and steal all the data that's coming out of these things. But the idea that these electronics are so cheap and are such a perfect way to lure people into adding devices to their internet. And of course, the amount of information they can get out of a private network or a public network. I mean, imagine if they plug this imagine if you're at the bank and you're like, I'm going to watch a Netflix at lunch or something. You plug this thing into your computer or whatever, and then, oh my God, I don't know how that works at banks, but the idea that this could be stealing all sorts of stuff, and the fact that it's built into these actual electronics was just kind of genius to me. So the first one were the advantage and the disadvantage of version 1 of this thing was that because it was built into the firmware, obviously once they found it, they could stop that firmware. If you can't update the firmware, which requires hardware, I believe, then once you found them, you could sort of stop them. The new one has the firmware built in, yes, but it also calls in and gets updates and does all sorts of stuff now. So the idea is maybe think twice about these incredibly cheap electronics you want to buy. Won't stop me, I'm sure. You start wondering about what about those Raspberry Pis and stuff? Did they have this stuff on it? I mean, apparently a lot of the Google, it was Google Android stuff, sort of unofficial Google Android operating system being used had a lot of this stuff in. So, Chris Cat, well, I'm very glad you could join me. And sometimes I have sound even. I mean, I'm more of a silent YouTube star than I am, but hey, I watch you from the Riviera Maya today. Hey, wow, nice. Data stealing. In my country, you're not allowed to plug everything you want to computer on any work, but personal devices may still be in danger. Well, this is it. So you bring your personal devices in by, it's that mix of personal and business stuff. Anyways, so the idea was that they thought they'd basically track this thing down, but they were amazed, like 100,000 devices that they felt that could have had this stuff when it shipped out. Well, now version 2's come out. In version 2, they're talking, Google has a lawsuit that's looking at 10 million devices that may have these things on it. And I was like, this is a whole other world of craziness. What they're using all these little devices to create botnets. And of course, botnets, once you've got a botnet, which you've got enough of these devices online, you can do a lot of damage, right? Like you could sell access to that and say, like, okay, if you want all of our devices to start hitting a website so that it's a denial of service, so that it doesn't work anymore because there's too many people trying to get in, we can use that. It could be obviously stealing credentials from all over the place. You've got access to other people's networks, so potentially you could do your evil deeds from Fred's network down the road because and then they get in trouble if something happens as opposed to you. And there's just a lot of stuff. Replicators. It's very replicators, true. You have to flash new firmware onto any cheap generic hardware you purchase. Yeah, but Chris Cat, this is the thing. I agree. I think you're absolutely right. How many people know how to do that? Like, you know what I mean? Like I know it's trivial to nerds, but non-nerds wouldn't think of that. And they'd certainly, then they'd certainly balk at the idea of possibly bricking their new device. People want to plug things in and have them just go, and that's why we click through all of the agreements and all of the signing away our firstborn child and all of our rights with these things as well, is because we just want to let's just get it working. Let's just get this thing, let's get that smart frame working and get our photos on it. And who cares what I'm signing away in the process to do? Excuse me. As I cough. I can't cough. I'm holding a coffee, so I can't cough in a good way. There's nothing to basically do. I'm a huge nerd hacker. There's nothing to do. Basically, I'm a huge nerd hacker too. I got to say, I don't do much hacking. I don't do any hacking, unless you call hacking just playing. I mean, I take things apart. I like that, and I'm fascinated by cybersecurity and that stuff. Luckily, so is my producer for I'm with Stargate Genius as well. Agnes also knows a lot about this stuff and is also a fan. So we've been talking about maybe getting some crazy cool cybersecurity people in here as well. Prusa made it easy, but it still takes some effort. Prusa made it easy for what? Cheerios. I go take on another pina colada for you. Enjoy, Frank G. Paradis. Cybersecurity is exhausting. It's exhausting, but it's just, yes, if you were in charge of cybersecurity, which I guess we all are in our own little networks, I suppose, but if a cybersecurity job, the amount of responsibility you would have. I did some IT stuff for a company years and years ago. I had so much fun, but this was it wasn't pre-internet, but it was pre-public internet. So the internet existed, but it was only for really universities and military at that point. There weren't a lot, if any. I signed up for the first service that I could find in Toronto that provided it at huge cost. Everyone thought I was nuts, but I was like, $40 a month just to sign on to the internet. So I hope you're not getting sick while getting fitter. No, I think I'm not actually sick. I'm just, it's that it's very dry. I find this time of year, even though it's wet outside, there's, with the putting on heating and stuff like that tends to dry you out a bit. We have had a lot of youngsters around. In the Halloween was the house was full of nieces and their friends and Baz and his friend. It was actually lovely. I got to say, it was really nice to have it. The house feels very quiet and lonely again now. I don't know how people raise children. They just leave. It's just awful. I mean, I likened it last night to putting down the dog. You had this wonderful dog, Mars, who's just absolutely perfect. Nothing like this horrible huzzah we have now. But Mars was lovely, lovely dog, but got to a point where he was he was really sick, and the concern was that these seizures that he was having were going to get worse, and so we made the call and said, like, okay, we just don't want this little guy to suffer anymore. So we ended up putting down Mars, and it was the right thing to do. You know what I mean? As the vet says, it's always too soon until it's too late, and I think we chose about the right time. I feel very good about that decision. I feel very good about, watching my old buddy, snore his way into oblivion. It was lovely. It was absolutely lovely. And depressing as all hell. But I knew I was doing the right thing. So I liken Baz going to school to that. I know we're doing the right thing. That he's getting an education, he's out in the world, he's like a grown up, or like, he is a grown up, but I mean, he's learning to be a grown up. It's everything I want for my kid, but I miss having him around. And I feel the same way about Mars. So there you go. That's the most depressing possible comparison, but it's honestly, it's how I feel. It's just it's just weird not having him around. Anyways, in the dry season, maybe you got a humidifier in this room. When you're rowing, you're not drying your throat out. Oh, it could be. Yes, that's true. This room is probably quite dry because there are heating vents all over it as well. My dad was a network engineer and caught many a hacker in his days, and even performed a few ethical hacks of his own when needed. Those people are the top of the field. Oh, it's so cool, isn't it? Emotional whiplash. That's so sweet, though. I wish my dad still seemed like he cared that much. Oh, Phoenix. It's funny. Dads of my dad's age were never terribly good at the emotional side of these things. You know what I mean? They were always very sort of upstanding, responsible, and reliable, but at the same time, not terribly, warm about with their kids. But so I'm just a giant suck. I mean, my poor son, I give him a hug just randomly. Hence the hot chocolate and tissues I gave you. Now go cry it out. Oh, some vampire. That's right. Hot chocolate and tissues. I know. It is perfect. Perfect solution. You know what's funny, actually? You want to hear funny? You know who stole the hot chocolate? It's my son. So there you go. He stole the hot chocolate and brought it to university. So thank you, Wholesome Vampire. I'm sure it was delicious. I'll ask Baz. That's what kids do. They steal all the good food, and they leave. What kind of dog do you have now? One of ours is a crazy coonhound named Vala. Oh, good name. We have a crazy mutt, which is a pound rescue, which is all we do. We only ever do pound rescues. I don't look. Look, if you get your dog however you want, but I feel, and there's no judgment here. I like the idea that we can. There's a lot of dogs out there that could use a hand, and shelters that could use us taking them. So this one we got during the pandemic. I wrote numerous emails to return her. Basically, I was like, "Look, we cannot. This is not the dog for us. She's untrainable. She's this." I wrote a number of emails and never sent them, saying we got to get rid of this dog because I really didn't want a dog. I really didn't want another dog. Mars was perfect, and I didn't want another one. And then the family was really pushing for it, and I appreciate. My son had the best plea. What a manipulative little fool. He said, "Well, Dad, I was born into this world with a dog. You had a dog when I was born. I've only ever known a dog. We can't not have a dog." And I was like, "Oh God, he's good. He's so good." Half our cats were from the pound. The other half were from the cat distribution system. I don't know what the cat distribution system is, but it sounds alarming. So our dog is actually a cat. So our dog is running the cat operating system for some reason. So she sort of daintily jumps up on window ledges, except she's not dainty. She's a giant freaking dog and just knocks everything over. Huzzah is the perfect name for her because she basically just knocks things over and breaks them. When you go all doggy daddy on her every time you see her, it's true. I do that too. I see. Yet you go all doggy daddy on her every time you see her. It's true. It's whatever. I have 4 Dalmatians, all rescued. One is deaf and he's an absolute nightmare. 9 months old, and he's so smart, it's unreal. Really, because the Dalmatians don't have a reputation for being particularly smart, are they? I mean, my wife and I got our first dog in June. A golden retriever called Dutch. after Big Arnie's character from Predator. Oh my God, that's great. Oh, that's very good. Good name. Huzzah comes from the uh, what is it called? Jane, what was that show we watched? The about the Russian, the Great, Catherine the Great, the Great. Yes, is when a cat comes to your door and says, "Adopt me." Yeah, cats do that. I had 7 at one point when I had my first house in my early 20s. Either friends would drop by and say like, "Oh, I'm just going off to so and so. Can you look after the dog for a bit?" I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And then they would never come back. And so there would be. I had 7 cats at one point. So yes, so I should have been aware of the cat distribution system. Same here. Cat equals dog. The dog the other way around. Good morning, Mark. How are you? My 6 cats, all strays, adopted me. Dalmatians, crazy wild. To train one, I feel it takes more energy to train it than any other breed. Yeah, I've heard that actually. Catherine the Great. Yeah, it's the Great. It's amazing. They're smart. They just play dumb so you don't try and train them and get them to do tricks. I'm convinced that's Huzzah. I'm convinced Huzzah's a freaking criminal mastermind, but she just pretends to, but she thinks that we think she's a cat. So yeah. Hi, Jane. It's a full-time job. David in chat. John D. Brewer. How are you, sir? Connor. Hi, David. Love your work. Thank you very much, Connor. I appreciate it. So you two have profited off the cat distribution system. It's true. Outside cats are great. Outside cats. Yeah, except here's the problem. Apparently cats are terrible for the bird population. Like a serious issue in urban areas is outside cats, which I thought was hilarious. A lab, golden, red fox coloring too. Her name is Azra. Good name too. Thank you for working as normal at home. Sometimes look after my sister's dog, which is good fun. Say something about leadership. And now a few words on leadership. Yeah. I think I'll leave it at that. Leadership. Oh God, don't even start me on leadership. The world needs some good leaders. It really does. I feel like we live in a world of privileged, clueless, spineless politicians is where I feel the world is at right now. If you want to talk about leadership, I would say we need some not just fair weather politicians. We need people who are willing to make some tough decisions and also have the ability to have the empathy needed for us to make this planet as wonderful as it should be, frankly, because we've been given everything we could possibly need here. The fact that all of the billionaires want to leave this planet is not a good sign. So there's my few. Oh my God, I took it seriously. I actually started talking about leadership. What the hell? Don't listen to me. So the world needs more McKay. The world needs leaders that don't want to be leaders. I mean, that's the problem is people who should be leading generally don't want to lead. This is the problem with, doctors' organizations. They want to be doctors. They don't want to run a business. They don't want to run an organization. They don't want to deal with politics. They want to deal with patients. Same thing happens with actors, acting industry, the acting unions, the writers, directors. They don't want to be running unions. They want to be writing or whatever, So a leader that isn't orange. Well, there's that too. Yes. Yes. So going back to the Learn for a second. So the podcast I'm listening to now, which I've been recommending to everyone right now, is called Hackers or Hacked. It might be Hacked. I think it's called Hacked, actually. Forget that first one. Hacked. I believe one of the guys is Canadian. I've just started listening to it, and I've just been sort of picking and choosing ones that sounded interesting. And I want to now go back and listen to this black box or black bot or whatever it's called, version 1, because apparently they did a whole podcast on that, and they've come back and done this sort of sequel, their first sequel as they call it, which is about sort of the return of this, because and the reason why they know about it is because Google has done this lawsuit. So I'm just very curious about the nature of cybersecurity now. I feel like we're all sitting ducks. Like I really do. I mean, I don't know how you fight this stuff. And there's so many different ways in. And as a parent, it's a nightmare because if you got your kids into Minecraft, wants to mod Minecraft, okay, you're downloading Minecraft mods, Roblox. You know what I mean? What about Roblox? What about clicking links in YouTube? And then of course you've got all these little network. Everything wants to join your network because everything wants to phone home or give you some kind of updates or whatever. All of those put you at risk, which is just, which is just amazing. Durin, is that whatever? Merci, Woodward, McKay, est un bon homme. That's about as much French as I got. Your fur baby is adorable too. Yes, yes. Enough about the damn dogs. She's not coming. She's not coming to say hi. Forget it. She's probably outside mauling some small child or something. That's what. She's taken to the backyard now, and she just loves guarding that back fence. Just roaming around, waiting for someone. So my question is, do you wish you could unlearn what you learned about how vulnerable we are regarding cybersecurity to give yourself peace of mind? Oh, AP Kilby. Yeah, I remember having this conversation with a very, very smart friend of mine, who is a writer in Hollywood and showrunner, an amazing guy. And he and I think it was him who said, how great would it be just to remove the worry from our brains? Like you just go and get whatever part of that brain is that's removed, whatever part of your brain that handles the processing of risk and all that, so that you could just sit there and do puzzles and feel happy and not feel threatened and not like if you could just take that section of your brain out. And we always used to laugh about that, about how, God, it would just be lovely not to be able to consider all the possible things that could go wrong. The reality is, I suppose, it's like we were talking about dementia last night, actually. And, it seems to go two ways, where either you go, otherwise you get confused and angry and in some cases violent, when you get old and you start losing your faculties in that way, or sometimes there are people who just go sort of gaga, for the term, for want of a better term, but the idea of just sort of just happy, just exactly what my friend says, like you've just lost the ability to worry about stuff. You're just happy to see everybody, and I like to think that would be the way to go if you're going to go. But yeah, there's a part of me that wishes I didn't know a lot about this stuff, because every time I listen to a podcast about cybersecurity, whether it's the amazing Jack Rees-Sider, Darknet Diaries, which is, I've got to say, I think is just my favorite podcast of all time, and it's all about cybersecurity. I love all the This Week in Tech, the Leo Laporte stuff that he's doing, the Twit TV network stuff, which is not TV. It's all podcasts about security and technology and stuff. And I just love it. They've got one called Intelligent Machines right now, which is a great one as well. Yeah, it'd be nice not to know all this stuff, so I didn't have to worry about it. But at the same time, I just find it fascinating as well. It's like a whole culture and subculture and technology and way of thinking that is just absolutely amazing to me. Like, yeah, just fantastic. Unfortunately, it'd probably just result in us falling into all of those traps and not knowing how or why, and it's even scarier. Things, guys, like things. Tell the Bratlet said hi. John, I shall do exactly that the next time I talk to him, which I don't know when it'll be, because he's grown up now and he lives on his own. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So what else have I got for you? I had an amazing. So the reason why by the way, I'm all dressed up and not as sweaty as I normally am, is because I did my 29 minutes today, and then I rushed off to have a pre-chat with our friend Marty from Naturalis, which is the Leiden Natural History Museum, and it is one of the most amazing places that I have ever visited. It was like a work of art, but all science. It was just extraordinarily beautiful in every way. So I I loved it. And one of the people we ran into there was this amazing guy who was working on dinosaur bones, and but in this open environment where as you walk by you could just say hi and watch them work. And so of course, being me, I said hi and asked him about stuff and started talking, and he was so much fun and so enjoyed what he was doing that Agne leapt in and sort of went like, well, you got to come on the podcast. And I'm so glad we've done that. So we've had our pre-chat. I've talked to Marty about that. I've had a bunch of pre-chats, actually. We got some amazing people coming up. But Marty's just a bit of a departure for us because we've done a lot of space science and satellite science and stuff, which I freaking love. It was not really an area of understanding for me, or even one that I'd really looked into much. But I am loving it, loving it. The amount of stuff that's going on is just freaking awesome. So there's got a bunch of I'm with Stargate Geniuses to do with that. But then what I like about this one with Marty coming up is that it really is a departure. This is natural history, the natural sciences. It's basically dinosaurs. So we're going to be talking about dinosaurs, but it's also just his approach to teaching as well, which is fascinating. And he's just a lovely guy. You're gonna absolutely love this one. So this is a really good one coming up. Not someone UK. No. Good morning, David. Just started my Atlantis rewatch. McKay is still my absolute favorite character. Well, let's just hope that it stays that way. Thank you. It does sound awesome, doesn't it? I thought so. Good morning, David. Just already done that. I actually got on while you were streaming. Love your live streams. What do you think of the upcoming Blade Runner series? I love the sound of it. I got to say, I do worry about serialized versions of my favorite movies of all time. So I'm curious to see how it works out. I think it may be filming in Prague too, which is, oh my God, what a absolutely extraordinary place. I'd heard rumors that it was shooting in Prague, and if I could get on that, that'd be amazing. Like just to go back to Prague. Hi, can I talk to you about your bones? Exactly. That's what I'll be doing. David, your streams encouraged me to take CS50 from Harvard and start coding, by the way. Woohoo, Phoenix Sterling. Computer Science 50 from Harvard. Oh, good. Is it one of the online ones? They've got some great stuff there. No sports talk today. You don't want to talk about baseball? No, Elizabeth, I don't want to talk about baseball. Oh, no. Oh, of course. You're in LA, aren't you? Well, we can't be friends anymore. People's first watch through of SG1 and Atlantis and their liking of McKay chart. Yeah, well, it's hard not to like him. It's hard to like him less than when he starts. So I was seething in anger the other day that they canceled Atlantis. Like you do. I'm very good, Russell. How are you, Russell Studios USA? Yes. Anyone else just lose sound? Uh-oh. Do I lose sound again? Or was that, hopefully it was just Zorak. I guess all that poutine and maple syrup isn't that great for athletics. Oh my God, Elizabeth, don't even start with me. Congratulations to LA on their win. And that's all I'm saying. What do you got? I've got sound. Your sound's fine here. Let's talk about Celtic beating Rangers yesterday. Okay, you know what? I can't get into this sport. I can't do any more sports stuff. I can't do it. Have you ever read any of these sequel books for Stargate Atlantis? No, I got to do a frequently asked questions. I gotta do a frequently asked questions because I'm happy to answer these questions. I just worry that people get bored of me answering the same questions all the time. I have not read the Atlantis sequels. I've heard about them and they sound kind of fun. But yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about them. It's not been on my list. What are your experiences working in the U.S. now? My daughter is a makeup artist and might be working there soon. Julian Casey. I think there's a general feeling of unease about working in the States if you are not American right now, is the sense I get. I am American, so I'm not as worried about it. I'm also a white guy. I'm a straight white male. So, chances are things will be a little easier for me than it would be for other people. So I am aware of that. I am not saying that's where it's going to end because I am sure that the orange thing would happily stop people who don't like him from returning to the country, whether they're American or not. I wouldn't tell people not to go. I mean, I will probably go there next year, for at least for a convention. I think is the plan. But I can't say that it's not a priority for where I'm going, to where I'm spending my time right now. I definitely, well, first off, visiting the Netherlands recently and England have just been, man, I feel like all of a sudden I go like, oh yeah, I'm a European. Like I feel like the mix of life and work and the sort of just the way they live their lives is much more my speed, certainly now. I don't speak English, but I've watched Stargate more than 10 times. All the episodes, you act incredibly well. Thank you very much. You seem to be doing a very good job of the English right there. Did you get into tech because of working on Stargate, or did you always have an itch for it? Oh my God, Gary Hollingdale. I have been a nerd since the day I was born. My poor parents, I took everything apart. You know, they would buy new things, and I would go, ooh, new things, and I would take them apart. And sometimes I'd get them back together again, rarely. I loved, what I've learned though was, instead of just feeling guilty about it, I realized how much I learned by taking things apart. Like I knew all of the components. I knew all the electronics. I was absolutely obsessed with electronics and robotics since I was a little guy. I had a train set, which I used for nefarious. I did everything from, I went to see what would happen if you shorted things out. I would figure out how to make little explosives. It was all just experimentation. I mean, it was basically citizen science from the beginning. I was not into the squishy stuff, which I wish I was. My father really pushed me into the squishy stuff with the biology and stuff. Obviously, he was a doctor and was fascinated by all that stuff. I was like, not for me. But now I'm coming around to it a lot. And a lot of that's in part because of Jim the Evo. Jim the Evo, James Gurney, did some amazing videos when he was in university that really, his love for viruses was unnatural, was amazing. And just so a lot of the videos that he did inspired me to sort of look more into this stuff, to realize there was more to it. I've gone sort of from this like silicon based obsession with electronics and robotics and the computer side of stuff to a fascination with the biological side of the stuff as well, and biological computing as well, and quantum computing. Let's face it, if it's science, I'm going to love it. And well, actually, that's the weird thing, is I realize my mother is a perfect example of this. My mother is 80 something years old at this point. And she's still taking university courses. Like, she's got a PhD in history. She's taught, she's retired, but she never stops learning. And I realize that I come by that naturally. That's my mom, and my dad too, for that matter. Excuse me. Sorry. Did you have your own somewhat of a lab in your childhood, or you experimented just on your room? Weren't your parents against that? I had one of the most fabulous bedrooms growing up. It was a basement. It was a top floor attic room. It was huge. It had a closet where I set up I had all of my supplies. It had, I almost fell out of the window setting up cable for it so that I could plug the cable. I spliced the cable into these old TVs that I would find. People would throw out old black and white TVs when they upgraded, and I used to take those TVs apart and get some of them working again, so that I could watch TV that I wasn't allowed to do because my parents, my father particularly, was not a fan of television. Radio Shack. Oh my God, Radio Shack was the best. It was the best. There was Radio Shack. There was Heathkit. I mean, now, oh my God, I wish I was a kid now, because they've just got the kit resources available are just extraordinary, including, thanks to my friends at the Odin, and other companies, but the Odin was the one I first found out about. It was biology kits, like kits that can get people into, basically like electronics kits only for biology. So that's some pretty stuff. Radio Shack, Tandy, the Trash 80. Oh my God. Radio Shack still exists here, I think, but it's sort of crap now. It doesn't have the same sort of stuff. I miss going into those into the electronics section of Radio Shack. Oh, glorious. I learned electronics with a book that I bought from Radio Shack. It was a green and white, 3-hole punched. It looked like it was handwritten. It wasn't, obviously. It was like copied from it, but it was all made to look like a journal almost. And I learned everything about electronics with that. I had an electronics kit. I took my electronics kit apart. That's how much of a nerd I was. So they had this whole, it was 101 electronics. And I was like, oh my God, there's a 201. Anyways, but the 101 electronics, I took that apart. I got the Merlin. I remember getting the Merlin game. And the reason why I got the Merlin game was because I wanted to see how it worked. So within a day of buying the Merlin game, saving up and buying this expensive, quote unquote, handheld video game that looked like a telephone, basically. I had taken it apart and to see how the buttons worked, because I loved the plastic buttons. How did they work? The electronics, the LEDs, all that kind of stuff. And my parents, of course, were dismayed because they're like, "What? You just spent all this money on it, and now it's in pieces." Mark Rober on YouTube can hook you up with those kits. Yeah, Mark Rober's got some really neat kits as well. It's true. Micro Center here is basically Radio Shack. Oh, really? Okay. Did you ever? I did watch Hackers. Are you kidding? Oh, I mean, it was cheesy as all hell, but my God, I loved it. But I'll give you one that's even better, actually. So Hackers was marvelous on a kind of a Hollywood glitzy way, but what was it called? The Sneaker Net? Sneakers? Maybe it was called Sneakers. Another amazing film about hacking. Yeah, those were two that I really liked. The best, though, honestly, was a documentary with, what's his name? Was it Clifford Stoll? Clifford Stoll, the Cuckoo's Egg, I think it was a documentary that they'd done that was so good that I went and bought the book and read the book, and the book was brilliant, about a guy tracking hackers through a university system. It's just extraordinary. Yeah, it was Sneakers. That's right. I thought Sneakers was great. Sneakers with Rob Redford. Exactly. Yeah, that was it. Great cast. Oh my God, it was River Phoenix. Wasn't River Phoenix in that back in the day? He was so good. So what else do I have to tell you? I think that's about it. I think I've covered everything. I can feel myself fading. I gotta go have myself some breakfast. It's been a long morning. I also saw Dark Matter. I also enjoyed Learn. Oh, good. Yeah, Dark Matter was fun. That's really fun. I remember seeing Clifford Stoll on Prisoners of Gravity once. Prisoners of Gravity. Oh my God, I gotta look up the Prisoners of Gravity. I loved that. I worked with that guy. He was involved in the space network here. Yeah, I kind of want to see Sneakers again now. Were there any other? I know River Phoenix, such a great movie, such a great actor. Jesus, he was amazing. Okay, so I need to know this. Forrest Mims introduced many people to electronics. He's still around today. He sold 7.5 million of those notebooks. Wait a second, is that who did the notebooks? Lockwatcher, was that the Radio Shack guy? Forrest Mims? Oh my God, I'd love to get him in touch. I'd love to get in touch with him. I just want to say thank you for these Burn&Learns. They're great to interact with. Oh, I'm so happy, Gary. Look, I am always amazed that you want to see an old, sweaty, unfit, grumpy old Stargate guy talking every morning. But I love this. This is my reward for doing the wretched exercise that I freaking hate. I just wish I could skip the exercise and just do this, but I just feel like I owe it to myself to get myself a little better in shape. I'm playing someone on The Boys that has a certain amount of girth to him, so I'm allowed to be a little bit a little larger than I should probably be, but I thought that doesn't stop me from at least doing some exercise. So, Alien Earth was a great connection between Blade Runner and Aliens universe. I loved Alien Earth. I haven't continued with it. So the Radio Shack guy was Forrest Mims. Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm going to look that up because he was instrumental for me. Absolutely instrumental. Your streams are awesome. We appreciate you having them up every day. Well, A.T. Morgan, I'm trying this. This is my new bid to try to stay fit and also sort of in touch with things. So Oh, well, that's great. Phoenix, I do this entirely selfishly, but thank you. If it helps other people, then that perfect. What do we got here? You once sang happy birthday to me on a Burn and Learn, and that video is my favorite thing ever. Oh my God, Gary, you're welcome. And happy birthday next year. Love seeing you every day. Thank you. Okay, all right. You are all fantastic. All right, fantastic. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. I always feel like a bit like I'm fishing for compliments, and I don't want it to sound like that. I still have some of those notebooks today, and they were hand lettered. Yeah, that's it. I don't know if I've still got the other one. Somewhere kicking around, there may be my electronics book because I recommended it to everyone. I lent it to people. I thought it was the most amazing thing ever. The thing I liked about the train set was that I would try to add things to it, like little lights and switches and stuff. There was something still to this day. I get a little thrill out of building an electronic circuit or whatever. Like, I mean, for Halloween, I should show you this actually. It's kind of fun. So for Halloween, I like to, I usually dress as a mad scientist and answer the door and scare little kids. It's a plus. But one of the things I did that I like is these little pie eyes. I don't know if you can see these. I need to get a little closer probably, but that's so that is just on my Meccano robot. Is he there? There he is. So my Meccano robot is a gift one of my tech bandits gave me because they said they were going to throw it out, and the kid said apparently to his mom, "Oh, we should give that to David." So he did, and it's wonderful. And I just something kind of fun about having them standing around. So but Raspberry Pi running two little monitors, and it's amazing. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Adafruit who did it. Amazing company that does these wonderful little things. Isn't he cute? That's what I thought he was kind of cute. So really, I think my goal with that is to build some kind of a robotic head that I can have, that I can tie into some AI, and he can sort of help, he or she or they or it. Really, it should help me with my with streams and stuff. So I'm doing good, Kathy. Hope you are too. New version of Wally. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to make my own. Mine is a fully articulated and AI-driven R2-D2. Gary, sweet. What's your biggest robotics project you are dying to try? Biggest robotics project that I'm dying to try. Ooh, there's so many. I think the biggest robotics project right now in my head is I want to build my own card sorter. Trading card sorter. I want one that can vacuum up a card without damaging it. Make sure there's only one card, and then use these wonderful AI apps that are available to identify it and then catalog it, basically. Because, oh God, I guess I should go back in there again. Because, well, I have a few cards. Let me just show you. Here's what I'm dealing with. So these are all cards. Like, all of this is cards. All of these are cards. All of these down here are cards. There's cards here. There's cards down here. I got a lot of cards, and I am also a bit OCD about it in that I want them organized. And but I don't. The idea of just sort of like doing it by hand, which I gotta say I love doing as well. I absolutely love it. There are card sorters out there. I don't want to just buy one though. I want to build one because I think like it's the project would be the fun part of it. So I need, and maybe there's some advice that people could give me on this, but I need some kind of a suction thing that can pick up a card. It can pick up a card without damaging it, because that's, keep in mind that a lot of these, well, I guess I say that, I suppose, well, yeah, it has to not damage it, but I guess I could sort it out so that any sort of possibly valuable cards I could take out of the mix and then just have it sort my bulk for me would be amazing. But I thought this was my idea, was like, could you, again, I've always got a million ideas. Everyone's got ideas. It's whether you can actually do them or not is the question. I have my old Prusa, right? So I've got the new Prusa printing away over here. in their glorious Prusa orange. I love the Prusa orange. I've got to say, it's just like my favorite color. My favorite color. Yeah. But I thought maybe you could take this kind of a system, put a suction on there, and then have it sort of go and pick up cards and move them around. And so I just thought you could basically use a 3D printer setup as the basis for this robotic system that would then pick up and sort cards. But obviously, I don't want to spend a fortune on it. I mean, some of these things are tens of thousands of dollars to get, and have these extremely expensive subscriptions and everything. I just think it'd be just so much fun to be able to put a stack of cards down and have it go pick up, move it over, identify it, put it somewhere. Pick it up, identify it, put it somewhere, and just have it piled up. You could even do this. You could even just have it pick up a card, photograph it, and then place it. And then you would just have a database of all of the cards in a stack of cards. And then you could, the next step, in fact, that would be my first step, I think. If I was to break it down into something simple, I would use the 3D printer as the basis, figure out whatever the suction thing is that's going to do it. The one that I saw on some of these some more expensive sorters picks up the card with the suction and then bends it, just a little bend, and it drops any cards that weren't in there before. It stops it from having only one pickup. That's right. It stops from having more than one card picked up. So it basically, God, I need another hand. I'm holding the phone. Let me see if I can do this. All right. So the idea is here's your card. It comes in, it picks it up, and then it pushes down, and that bends the card, and any other cards that were underneath will just drop out. Then you would have this thing pick it up, move it over to a camera, perhaps, get it photographed. It doesn't even need to identify it at this point. You would just be building a database of images of the cards that you have, and then and just documenting that in some kind of a CSV file or something like that. That itself would be amazing. And then you could tie it into one of the other databases or something that you've got. Oh my God, I'm totally going off on a tangent. Thank you for asking that, because it's fun. I like thinking about these things. You look up pick and place machines for SMD electronic components. That would be the technique I recommend. It can only get one at a time. It can only get one at a time. Yeah, okay, all right. AI scans could help you identify very quickly. Yeah, Russell Studios, there's some amazing apps out there. Even like TCG Player, I think, has one, and Price Charting, I believe, does as well. Geeky, sciencey stuff, you're right. So pick and air suction would be the best so as to not damage your card. But what kind of air suction things are there? Are there good air suction things? Oh, RC car guy. Oh my God. I wanted a remote control car so badly when I was a kid. They were so expensive back then. Now, the one that I've got is actually an Arduino. I built it and then took it apart again, because that's what I do. It was actually an Arduino-based remote control car that uses, is it Wi-Fi? No, it's not Wi-Fi. I think it might even be Bluetooth. Yeah, I think it's Bluetooth that controls it, and it's so much fun. Like, that's amazing. I'm just wondering, now that we start talking about these things, trying to understand the game of One Piece at the moment. What do you need to know, Mark? I played it. I love it. I love those cards. I've been reading the manga. The One Piece game is, you have to play it. You just have to play it. Find your local shop, sit down, and play a game, because it's great. I wish they had an electronic version, because I would play it. I would play it online with people if I could. Hey, baby, what's up?
Hey, do you have Star?
No?
Yeah, I don't know where she is, and it's raining.
Oh, she's outside.
She's still?
Well, the door's open, though.
No, I just shut it because it was raining.
Oh, I think you then shut her out.
Oh.
I should go. I've neglected my dog and my family. Yeah, so the RC car that I've got is actually an Arduino kit, which is amazing. Air suction. Okay, AP Kilby, where do I get air suction from? Geeky, sciencey stuff. Images. If you had a database of all the cards, yeah. See, look, everyone's thinking. There you go. 8 miles. Jimmy, are you there? 8 miles done. Thanks for being the learn part of my burn, David. Jim the Evo, you're welcome. And thank you for getting me into biology in the first place, like I was telling people before. I don't know if you missed that, if I even had audio at that point. It's the name of the cards. Okay, I must go. I've been doing this. I am actually just obsessive. Yeah, I think so. Do you play tabletop games like Warhammer? Oh, I have a Warhammer kit, but I've not got into it yet. I'm building a model railway with a slot car track built so that you can race around the city. And she was inside? Oh, good. So I'm not a terrible owner. DJI RoboMaster. Ooh. DJI RoboMaster. I don't know that, but I'll tell you the DJI. I was looking at the DJI Neo 2, I believe it was, which is like a selfie cam. I thought it'd be so cool to do my burn and learn, throw a drone up in the air, and then take the dog out for a walk, and then do my chats like that. Oh my God. You imagine the audio on that? I can't even get audio sitting in my room right. The man who made me love science. Oh, Delta Force. I'm so happy that is the case. I'm very happy. Janelle, goodbye. Thank you. Part pickup pens, $8.99 on Amazon? Really? Part pickup pens, $8.99. That's it. Okay. See you tomorrow. All right, everyone. I better go. Thank you for this. This, like I say, this is like such a this is, you may like it. I like it more. This is entirely selfish, and yeah. So it's worth the 29 minutes of torture device exercise nightmare that I have to do. Do you have somewhere where we could send ideas for your project? It would be fun to crowd project in a way. Yes, A.T. Morgan. That's a brilliant idea. I have a Discord. Go to techbandits.org. And let's figure that out. Maybe we'll start a Discord. I've got a Discord. Maybe I can start a Discord section about building a crowdsourcing a parts picker, robot thing, and I could do some videos of that. That would be fun. Oh my God, that would be really fun. Thank you for bringing that up. That's what a great idea. And yes, thank you for feeding my obsession. I just posted the One Piece TCG for Tabletop Simulator on Steam in Tech Bandits. Oh, really? Does it actually work? Does it do all the cards and everything? Oh my God, I'm there. Let's do it. Okay, so yes, go check out techbandits.org. Over there, you will find that there is a Patreon. If you'd like to help out with the Patreon, that would be marvelous. Maybe we can build ourselves, or myself, a card sorting machine, and amongst other things. But the idea behind it is basically just to help support my lifelong learning adventure stuff, which of course is more about spending money than actually earning it. So, and then of course there's a newsletter which I've got to send out as well, called Email of Awesomeness, which you should all sign up for. Actually, please do sign up for it. That'd be amazing. And what else is there? Oh, and there's merch. If you want to get this, I've got some Stargate inspired merch stuff there as well. So go check that out, techbandits.org. And there's even, I think, a Discord there somewhere as well. So there's a bunch of stuff. Oh, Anti-Static's already put it out. Fantastic. But was asked for permission to, well, you can have permission to, there you go. Is that the link? Can I do that? Nope. How do I just want to show it? Nope. Show. Will that work if I show that? I don't know if that helps people, but I mean, there's the Discord thing. Is that the right Discord? I shouldn't really be sending stuff out, should I, if I don't know whether it's real or not? Talking about freaking cybersecurity, I'm a disaster. All right. Listen to Darth Piran. He knows things. I'm sure he does. I look forward to hearing more about it. Love you from Vienna. Well, lots of love back to Vienna for you. Do you have a PO box for fan letters, gifts, etc.? Oh, I don't. I generally have people send stuff through my wife's production company. But yeah, you just ordered a t-shirt from Canadian. Woohoo! Idle Flower. Thank you much. Bye. Okay, get out of here. I gotta go. Be brave, be kind, be brilliant. Cheerio and huzzah and thank you. That was really fun. Cheerio and huzzah. That was a fun chat. I feel inspired, invigorated, and actually really hungry because I got to eat breakfast too. Thanks everyone. Sorry about the audio. As always, I'm an idiot. What can I say? Human.